Main gate flea market. When the food truck thing coming? It says open soon, food truck heaven. I love my mommy. Now that I got a granddaughter, I could shop for that stuff. That's only $6. Y'all seen last time I did this little chair. It actually do, but it kind of felt like it pulled my back a little bit. 5 for $10.99 shirts. They're all real. These are all real old. Just the numbers ain't valid no more. So guys, what it is Yo Girl Cadillac. I am Cadillac Dixon. I'm the Draw My Life Prison Wife. I'm the legally blind artist that is rapping and painting for justice. Hoping, girl, to see justice before all fades to black. Yes, it's your girl Cadillac. Anyways, y'all know I have been reviewing the story of C Murder, aka Corey Miller. Well, really, let's say it the other way. Corey Miller, aka C Murder. I was reviewing that story. We're going back trying to first we're going to research two things, like what really are the conditions in the Louisiana prison that he's trying to bring, you know, attention to by doing his hunger strike. And then also we are trying to go back and just learn the case, because he is saying that he is wrongfully convicted. Me, myself, I am, y'all know through my shorts, I'm known as the OG prison wife. Been a prison wife for the last 20 plus years, girl, in the state of Florida. Sorry, that was our daughter that called and interrupted me. But anyway, so I have been a prison wife for the last 21 plus years to my husband, who is wrongfully convicted and excessively sentenced in the state of Florida. So this morning I was trying to research the case a little bit. You know, this is going to take a while. It is not something you can do really quickly, so I'm trying to catch myself up. So as I was researching the case, I seen this little paragraph that was basically saying that he was convicted, and it said that eyewitnesses said that they seen him. Basically, it was a rap battle or whatever, and on stage, it was a guy that was a fan of his, he was actually underage, but he was in the club, and that eyewitnesses said that they seen him, you know, out the guy at point blank range. So then the questions that arose in my mind was, okay, so but then later we know that those witnesses had basically recanted their statements, which means that that initial statement that that witness said, according to him himself, is wrong. So did they build the case on just the eyewitnesses saying that they seen him, you know, out the guy at point blank range, or did they, it's making me think, like, where's the weapon? Did they recover the weapon in that case? And if they did, what is the weapon, what does the testing of the weapon show? Whose fingerprints are on there? Did they get his fingerprints on that weapon? What are the ballistics showing? Like, what are the testing of the weapons showing? Is it reflecting what was actually said by the witnesses? Like, that's what I'm wondering now. But I gotta continue to dig a little deeper to find that information. So basically what I'm trying to find out, does the case itself just stand on the witnesses? Is the heaviness in the case towards him being convicted just the witnesses' statement? Or is it actual evidence? Does the evidence align with what the witnesses alleged back then and now? Like, what is the case standing on? What are the legs in the case? Y'all know that I did create a playlist, although I now have almost 10 videos in on the subject where I was talking about the Corey Miller case. He has the hashtag free, I believe it's free Corey Miller. I believe that's the hashtag, and hashtag Purple Union. And let me add my hashtag free Marcello, my husband, as well. But I'm trying to find out like more information on this case. We're gonna research it together. So I do have a current playlist that is Marcello Jackson wrongfully convicted. What I did was I took all these 10 videos that I already have and the ones that are going to be to follow, I put them in that playlist. The reason I put them to the top of that playlist, which I'm thinking about possibly tweaking the name of the playlist, that way it's not just my husband Marcello. You know, that's what the whole channel started off of, but I always wanted to expand it to be more than just him. But I wanted to get him home first, but then, you know, assist in others that are wrongfully convicted and left behind or whatever. And I am a graphic designer. Like I said, I do have a magazine that I'm working on that says it is called Family United. It's basically made to make it easier for, but it's basically to make it easier for the next person. I've went through so much red tape just trying to get this case to the forefront and just get him home. Like, that's all we really want. Like, if he really rightfully did the crime, then he would rightfully do his time. But because I know he didn't, I'm gonna fight tooth and nail till he comes home, girl. So all that said, just to say, y'all can go check out the playlist to catch up to this point if you like to. It starts with the Corey Miller case, and then it goes into Marcello Jackson case, and then towards the end I do have some videos that I was basically reviewing about Tory Lanez, because y'all know that Tory Lanez's dad is saying that he's wrongfully convicted, that they wrongfully convicted his son, that they didn't have any evidence. Like, the reason what made me review that case is because I kept noticing people's outrage. Like, people are torn on that case. Like, half believe that he's supposed to be convicted and half believe he's not. And what stood out to me is that people were in shock that you could be convicted without evidence. And I know that you can be, because that's in my husband's case, there is no evidence. But people were so shocked that you can be convicted without the evidence. Or people can, eyewitnesses, their statements can go back and forth, and it's still, the case can conclude where you've been found guilty. Like, we know that you're not supposed to be found guilty if there is any shadow of a reasonable doubt. But I'm telling you, they will close these cases with reasonable doubt. In fact, in my husband's case, before they even closed the case, like, it was so much line back and forth that you couldn't even follow the witnesses, which they were saying one thing, and then when they were called on that, like, how could that be true? They would say something else. They would change their statements. They would do all types of stuff. So at the end, it was like the jury just couldn't follow it. It was just too much. It was back and forth. They didn't know what was what. So at the end, they asked 2 questions to the judge, basically to get clarification before rendering their verdict. The first was, did anybody know, because y'all know my husband caught a ride with his cousin and basically spent the rest of his life, you know, in prison ever since. And the cousin was let free, basically. Right? But the question was, did anybody know that the 2 were cousins? And the judge said that he's not going to answer that because they should have been listening during trial. That's something they should have asked during the trial. And in closing statements, he's not going to answer that. So that means they didn't get that question answered, and it had to have been a reason that they asked that question. And that question had to have been able to, had they got the answer to that question, would it have impacted their decision? Okay, and then the second question was if the jurors can all get a copy of the transcript to go back over some things, because like I said, it was all over the place, and I guess they couldn't remember what happened, what was said, or whatever, and they kept telling them that they should rely on their own remembrance. So they wanted a copy of the transcript to go over things and then render a verdict. The judge said, what? He outburst, what? What do they need the transcript for? What was the whole purpose in this trial? What did they even come to court for if they need to look at the transcript? He said, okay, I give them the transcript, but let them know they got to come back tomorrow. And he said, that'll fix that. It's in a transcript where the judge says, that'll fix that. And I'm like, that'll fix what? And believe it or not, without those answers, those questions answered, they came back within minutes with the verdict of guilty in the highest. So, I don't know. So this has definitely been the fight of my life. And I don't believe it began with my husband, Marcello Jackson, but I don't believe it ends with him. I do believe this is my life's work, and it has been my life's work. I will leave link in the description box, my video, What is Project Reach the World? That is all my art forms that I use to get through all my dark storms. All right, so let me go. Girl got a little headache. And basically, it's almost time to work. I gotta jump back on my work ship real quickly, y'all. But tomorrow I am off, so I might have a little time to go and research and bring y'all whatever I find about those questions that I did raise. All right, it's your girl Cadillac.